There is something profoundly powerful about the early hours of the morning. It is not simply about the act of waking up early, but about what that act represents. Think about it. When you choose to rise before the rest of the world, you are making a declaration, perhaps not loudly, but very firmly, that you are the master of your own time, your own energy, and your own mind. It is less about the clock and more about the mindset. The silence of those early hours is not emptiness. It is opportunity. It is a sanctuary where the noise of the world has not yet invaded your thoughts. In that space, you are no longer reacting to messages, notifications, or demands. You are creating, reflecting, and deciding how the day will unfold, rather than allowing the day to dictate terms to you. You see, one of the most destructive patterns many of us fall into is living reactively. We wake up late, already in a rush, already behind schedule, already responding to the chaos around us. From the very first moment of the day, we are not in control. Life is controlling us. That is why waking up early is not just a habit, it is a philosophy. It is the practice of reclaiming the very first hours of the day to exercise intentionality, clarity, and direction. When you make that choice, you are not just setting an alarm, you are training your mind to lead rather than to follow. There is a psychological phenomenon worth reflecting upon. The mind is most impressionable in the first hour after waking up. In those fragile moments, your brain is in a unique state, highly receptive to suggestion, focus, and influence. Now imagine if you immediately flood that sacred space with stress, noise, and distractions, scrolling through social media, checking emails, rushing into tasks. You allow the outside world to write the first chapter of your day. But if you wake up early and choose instead to fill that space with reflection, prayer, journaling, exercise, or even silence, you begin your day by writing your own script. The difference is not small, it is transformational. Because when the first chapter of your day is authored by you, the rest of the day bends in that same direction. Philosophers have long spoken about the power of the morning. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic, reminded himself each morning that he had work to do, that the world was waiting, and that excuses would not serve him. The mystics speak of the early hours as a sacred time when the soul is most aligned with clarity and divine presence. Modern psychology echoes this truth, showing us that willpower is strongest in the morning, before decision fatigue drains our energy. Across cultures and eras, there is a universal recognition of the morning is not just a time of day, it is a state of mind. But waking up early is not easy. It requires discipline, and discipline itself is a form of freedom. When you force yourself out of bed before the comfort of sleep tempts you to stay, you are sending a signal to your subconscious that comfort is not your master, that laziness does not dictate your life. You are teaching yourself that your higher purpose outweighs temporary desire. Every time you win that small battle you are reshaping your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who conquers. An identity is powerful because we do not act according to what we want. We act according to who we believe we are. When you rise early, you are no longer just someone who has extra hours in the day. You are someone who has claimed mastery over their own will. And this mastery extends far beyond the morning. It bleeds into your work, your relationships, and your vision for life. If you can command yourself to wake up early, if you can command yourself to chase goals others deem impossible, the habit of waking up early is the seed, but the harvest is unstoppable confidence. Now, let us look at this practically. Imagine two people. The first wakes up late, hurries through breakfast, checks their phone, and stumbles into work already stressed. Their entire day is about catching up, meeting demands, reacting to what others throw at them. They are constantly in survival mode. The second wakes up early, takes an hour for reflection, perhaps reads something meaningful, moves their body, sets intentions for the day, and begins their work already centered and prepared. That person is not in survival mode, they are in creation mode. Who do you think will feel unstoppable? Who will carry more focus, more confidence, and more peace into the day? The answer is obvious, yet so many of us choose the first path because it seems easier. But easier in the long run becomes harder. And yes, some people may argue, but I am not a morning person. Let me tell you, being a morning person is not a genetic trait. It is a decision. It is about reconditioning your body and your mind. At first, it will be uncomfortable. Growth always is. But discomfort is not your enemy. Discomfort is proof that transformation is happening. When you train yourself to rise early, you are not just adjusting your schedule. You are rewiring your psychology. You are building resilience, sharpening your focus, and cultivating a kind of quiet power that comes only when you know you have mastered yourself. It is important to remember that waking up early is not the end goal. It is the means to a higher goal. The goal is not simply to be awake at 5 a.m. The goal is to use that time intentionally, to invest it in your growth, to design your day from a place of clarity. If you waste those hours, the act loses its meaning. But if you use them to strengthen your body, deepen your mind, and align your spirit, then those hours become the foundation of greatness. So when I say waking up early will make you unstoppable, I do not mean unstoppable because you have more hours in the day. I mean unstoppable because you will have claimed the most powerful truth of all, that you are in charge of your mind. And when you take charge of your mind, nothing outside of you can truly control you. Success, resilience, discipline, all of it begins in that simple yet profound choice to rise before the world does, of to live with intention instead of reaction. And perhaps that is the greatest gift of waking up early. It teaches you that life is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. When you rise early, you are not waiting for opportunities to arrive. You are creating the conditions for them to find you. You are not wishing for success. You are preparing yourself to embody it. And that mindset, once embraced, cannot be taken away. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, remember, it is not just a call to wake up. It is a call to rise to a higher version of yourself. And when you answer that call consistently, you will discover that what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Because in the end, it is not the early hour that makes you unstoppable. It is the choice behind it. And the greatest power you will ever possess is the power to choose.